Craziest things footballers did for money. You won't believe what this footballer did just to make more money. He was already earning millions, but apparently, that wasn't enough. He made a decision that cost him his career, and he's not the only footballer who has gone this far for money. From players risking their careers through gambling to footballers getting involved in shocking scandals, these are the craziest things footballers did for money. And number 7 is where things get seriously crazy. 1. Carlos Tevez. The millions he risked. Carlos Tevez was already earning millions at Manchester City when his relationship with the club exploded in 2011. During a Champions League match against Bayern Munich, manager Roberto Mancini wanted Tevez to come on. Mancini later claimed that Tevez refused to play, while Tevez said he had only refused to warm up. The argument became a massive controversy. Manchester City suspended him and fined him, while the dispute affected millions of pounds in wages and bonuses. The crazy part is that Tevez wasn't fighting because he was broke. He was already a millionaire footballer. Yet a disagreement over playing time and his relationship with the manager became serious enough to damage his career and cost him financially. But Tevez wasn't the only footballer willing to risk his career while chasing more money. 2. Joey Barton. More than 1,200 bets. Joey Barton became one of the most controversial footballers in England after the Football Association discovered that he had placed more than 1,200 bets on football matches between 2006 and 2013. Barton admitted the offences and received an 18-month ban from football, later reduced to 13 months, along with a £30,000 fine. The crazy part was that Barton already had a professional career capable of making him serious money, yet gambling became such a problem that he risked the very career providing his income. Barton later spoke openly about his gambling addiction. He wasn't simply risking a few pounds. He was putting his profession at risk for the possibility of making more money. 3. Sam Sojay. Money for a yellow card. Match fixing is where the pursuit of money becomes much darker. In 2013, former Portsmouth player Sam Sojay was filmed making claims that players could deliberately receive yellow cards in exchange for money. His claims triggered an investigation by Britain's National Crime Agency, although Sojay denied some of the allegations connected to the investigation. The story revealed how easily football can become a target for people trying to manipulate betting markets. A player doesn't necessarily need to throw an entire match to make money. Someone could potentially bet on a specific event and then try to influence that event. A yellow card, a corner, a penalty or another small moment could become financially valuable. When a player starts thinking about the money instead of the result, the integrity of the entire match is threatened. 4. Richard Rufus. The £15 million fraud. Richard Rufus was once a professional footballer who played for Charlton Athletic. After retiring, he presented himself as a successful foreign exchange trader and persuaded people to give him money to invest. Prosecutors said the investment operation was fraudulent and involved around £15 million. In 2023, Rufus was convicted of fraud and sentenced to 7 years in prison. What makes this story especially disturbing is how his football background helped create trust. People weren't simply handing money to a random stranger. They were dealing with a former professional footballer who presented himself as a successful businessman. According to the prosecution, that trust was abused. He went from earning money through football to losing his freedom because of his pursuit of money. 5. Adrian Mutu. The £14.65 million consequence. Adrian Mutu was one of Chelsea's biggest attacking talents, but his career at the club collapsed after he failed a drug test for cocaine in 2004. Chelsea terminated his contract, and what followed became a massive legal battle. Mutu was eventually ordered to pay Chelsea compensation of around £14.65 million. That's an unbelievable amount of money for one footballer to owe because of a single incident. Mutu later rebuilt his career and became a major star in Italian football, but the financial dispute followed him for years. A player can earn millions, but one disastrous decision can create consequences worth millions too. 6. Emmanuel Adebayor. The celebration when Emmanuel Adebayor left Arsenal for Manchester City. The transfer created serious tension between him and his former club's supporters. Then he faced Arsenal on the pitch. Adebayor scored and sprinted almost the entire length of the field before sliding on his knees directly in front of the Arsenal supporters. The celebration caused outrage, and he was fined £25,000 and suspended for 2 matches. The transfer had already involved money, contracts and a new opportunity, but one emotional celebration turned the entire situation into one of the most controversial moments of his career. Sometimes chasing a better deal doesn't just change where a player works. It can completely change how supporters see him. 7. Nicolas Anelka. When football became a business, Nicolas Anelka's career was almost a tour of football's biggest clubs. Arsenal signed him as a teenager before Real Madrid paid around £22.3 million for him in 1999. He later played for Paris Saint-Germain, Liverpool, Manchester City, Fenerbahce, Bolton, Chelsea and Shanghai Shenhua. Moving clubs isn't automatically greedy, and players have many legitimate reasons for changing teams. But Anelka's career demonstrates just how much financial value can surround a successful footballer. Huge transfer fees followed him, and his career became a long series of major financial opportunities. But the craziest part about football money is that the biggest financial mistakes aren't always made by players who don't have enough. Sometimes they're made by people who already have everything. A professional footballer can earn more in 1 month than some people earn in years, yet gambling, greed, bad decisions and the temptation of easy money can still destroy that success. Joey Barton risked his career through betting. Sam Sojay became connected to allegations involving money and match manipulation. Richard Rufus ended up in prison after a fraudulent investment scheme. Adrian Mutu faced a compensation bill worth millions. Carlos Tevez showed how quickly a dispute involving contracts, playing time and money can become a full-blown war. Football gives players the opportunity to become incredibly wealthy, but it also gives them enormous opportunities to lose everything. Because once money becomes more important than the career, the club, the supporters or even the rules of the sport, the price of greed can become far greater than the money was ever.